How to walk down the aisle. Practice walking down the aisle before the big day. The easiest way to calm your pre-wedding jitters is by practicing your walk. Set up a pretend aisle in a hallway and put on your processional music to perfect your pace and posture. It's okay if your practice aisle is a little shorter than your normal aisle. The important part is making sure that you're balanced and confident as you're walking. Walk around in your heels, if you're wearing them down the aisle. It's important to break in your heels before the wedding and make sure that you're comfortable in them. Put them on while you're walking around the house, and make sure you're taking small steps and are able to maintain good posture while walking. Be sure to practice going up and down stairs, which you may have to do to get to the location of the ceremony. If your wedding is outdoors, practice walking in your shoes on various surfaces. Be careful not to get them dirty, though. If you're having trouble with walking in your heels, bring a backup pair with a shorter heel for the day of the wedding. Stand up as straight as possible to show your confidence. As you're preparing to walk down the aisle, put your shoulders back and take a few deep breaths to loosen up. Raise your chin to avoid looking at the ground when you walk and to appear confident. You can practice your good posture in the mirror before the wedding to make sure you don't look stiff. Hold your bouquet slightly lower than what feels natural. Many brides want to hold their bouquet close to their chest, but that can be very unflattering and make your walk more difficult. Place your hands at waist level, creating a diamond shape between your arms and your body. Your elbows should be directly parallel to the thinnest part of your waist to achieve the perfect look. Have your escort link their arm into yours. Traditionally, the bride will position herself on the escort's arm. However, since you're holding your bouquet, have your escort wrap their arm around yours once you've positioned yourself. It'll be more comfortable for you while you're walking. If there's a big height difference between you and your escort, you might ask them to wrap their arm around your back, instead of linking arms. This is more comfortable but is still endearing and provides support as you walk. Don't be afraid to lean on your escort slightly if you need some support. That's what they're there for. Walk at a pace just slightly slower than what's normal for you. You might think you have to do the step together traditional bridal walk. Luckily, most brides choose to walk like normal, albeit slightly slower than their regular pace. You can even choose to use the beat of your processional music to set the rhythm for your walk. Even if your music is extremely slow, try to walk at a medium pace. That way, you can enjoy the beautiful moment, but you aren't stalling the ceremony. Use the hem of your dress to prevent tripping. As you're walking, make sure that your dress hem touches the top of your foot after each step. This will ensure that you don't step on your dress. If you don't feel the hem of the dress on your foot, it's possible that you're stepping on it, but don't panic. Just pause for a moment and use your foot to move the dress forward. You can work with your seamstress to make sure that the hem of your dress falls at the right length for walking. If your dress is extra long, consider holding it up slightly in one of your hands while you walk. This gives a very princess look as you're making your way to the altar. Smile and acknowledge your guests as you make your way down the aisle. It can be uncomfortable to have everyone looking at you and potentially taking pictures. Don't be afraid to smile and make eye contact with your friends and family while you walk. After all, they're here to see you. Smiling is also a great way to prevent yourself from crying before you get to the altar. If you're an emotional person, try to avoid looking at people who are already crying. Your emotions will be running high, but remember this is a very happy moment. Thank your escort at the end of the aisle. Your escort will likely be someone who is extremely close to you. When you get to the end of the aisle, turn to them and hug them before continuing to the altar. They deserve a special moment for supporting and helping you through your walk. Some brides have 2 escorts, which is completely normal, especially in the US. In that case, turn to each of them individually at the end of the aisle and thank them with a hug or kiss. Organizing your processional. Lead the processional with the mother of the bride. Traditionally, the mother of the bride will kick off the wedding by walking down the aisle and taking her seat in the front row. Sometimes, the parents of the other partner will join her when walking down the aisle. If the mother of the bride is escorting the bride down the aisle or won't be at the wedding, you can start the processional with the parents of the other partner, the grandparents of the couple, or the officiant of the wedding. Pair members of the wedding party together to walk down the aisle. Many couples choose to have their wedding party walk down the aisle in pairs. This saves time and works well, especially if there's an even number of people. It's best to pair couples up based on height to avoid large height disparities that can make walking together difficult. The maid of honor and best man are normally the last pairing of the wedding party to walk down the aisle. Have your partner walk out any time before you. Your partner can choose to walk down the aisle or enter the room from a side door to take their place at the altar. They can choose to come out at any point in the processional, as long as it's before you make your way down the aisle. Often, the officiant of the wedding and your partner will enter together and walk to the altar. Position the flower girl and ring bearer just before the bride. To signify the end of the procession and the arrival of the bride, send the flower girl and ring bearer out just before the bride. The adorable kids will entertain the wedding goers as the bride prepares herself for the walk down the aisle. Usually, the flower girl is the last one to walk before the bride, and she throws flower petals to line the aisle for the bride. If the ring bearer is too young to be trusted with the real rings, you can give him decoys to deliver to the groom at the altar.